All right. It was a very inspiring opening. I hope you also guys enjoyed. So, and now, as the last time, before the start of the presentations of the solutions on which you're working on, let's introduce our experts who will evaluate the team's performance today. And Alena Chikanova, National Purchasing Manager from Perfetti Van Melle, Andrei Akhlopkov, Head of Expertise and Technical Development, Mosenergo, Kirill Kazinyashev, EY Parthenon Associate Partner, Philip Mukhin, Head of Innovation Practice from Accenture, Елена Pervyshina, Senior Consultant, Financial Sector Advisory Services Group from KPMG, Ekaterina Kolatsukha, Senior Brand Manager, Consumer Goods from Essity, and Mirakan Araksya, PhD in Economics, Associate Professor in Department of Organizational Management, Faculty of Economics from Moscow State University. Thank you very much, dear judges, that you join us and help a lot for our teams. And I would also like to remind you of the order of the teams that we will follow today during our stages. And in the final, we have 6 teams. So who Churchella, Financisti, Bra, 2x2, Это важно, Lucky Charms, and that's all. We have 6 teams who were promoted to the final event, and so let's give reactions in Zoom to our experts in our teams. Let's support each other. And do you have any questions, dear colleagues? All right. So I don't see any questions, and I think we can start. And the first team with whom we would like to start, you can start sharing your screen, guys. It's Churchella. And the interesting fact about this team, which I have in my scenario, it's Simply Churchella, but I'm pretty sure that it was something else. Maybe guys will share this a bit later. So I recommend you to share like full screen format, your presentation. Super. And just a kindly reminder that you have 10 minutes for your presentation. I will write in the chat how many minutes left, like 5 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. And if you are not in time, unfortunately, I will interrupt you and we will stop. So you are the first, and guys, good luck.
Thank you very much. We can start, yeah?
Yes, you can start.
Good afternoon, I'm Artur, and welcome our team Churchella. During this week, we have discovered new income sources and ways to increase Mosenergo's profits. And today, our team has come together to present our strategy. Let's start with Astimir. The stage is yours.
Yeah, my name is Astimir, and we would like to introduce you to our solution, from which you will learn what are the many possible revenue areas for Mosenergo. The construction of the waste-to-energy plant is the best idea, which will also bring 32 billion rubles in income. Let's begin the analysis determining the areas. Mark, go on, please.
Hi, I'm Mark, and in the beginning, our team wondered in what areas of life electricity used. And as you can see on the slide, we identified that heat and power produced by CHPs is consumed by urban and suburban residents, industrial producers, and various city infrastructure. Now let's look with Zhenya at each area in detail and identify the problems encountered.
Thank you, Mark. I'm Zhenya, and well, there are 4 aspects of energy consumption in Moscow. Firstly, there is the environment. Those are pollution and recycling as the main consequences of energy production and consumption. Secondly, infrastructure could be highlighted as the most important consumer for maintaining city life, with electric vehicles being one of the most developing topics. Consecutively come the industrial consumers with their greenhouse gas emissions and rapid growth of the IT sector, as well as generally high consumption of both electricity and heat. Last but not the least are the citizens, both urban and suburban. Now it's time to go deeper into each problem. Artur, let's try to come up with a solution for each of them.
Let's initially consider the environment. In 2020, air pollution in Moscow resulted 2.6 times higher than the recommended World Health Organization metrics suppose, and soil pollution is expected to grow due to increasing landfill areas. By 2025, the total area of landfills in Moscow is expected to rise by 33%. Sorting and incinerating the waste with later filtration would help to resolve this problem. Moving on to infrastructure, the city is in urgent need of switching to electric vehicles to cut down on energy emissions. However, that is currently impossible due to lack of proper charging infrastructure with 18 electric vehicles for one charger, and most of the chargers being not as modern as they should be. Pedestrian electric transport, scooters and bikes are getting extremely popular, but it is currently impossible to fill them up on the streets. It appears that investing in transport chargers could be highly prospective.
While urban residents are mostly satisfied with heat and electricity supply quality, people that live in single-flat houses often encounter connection and heating issues. So instead of rebuilding the wiring and the piping, Mosenergo could supply suburban residents with microgeneration solution. The most suitable of them being personal solar panels. As mentioned earlier, industrial plants account for 79,000 tons of air emissions yearly. The problem is 65% of these plants are CHP, and cutting down on emissions require carbon capture system or introduction of alternative fuel. Data centers, being the most prospective energy consumer, can turn out to be great income sources upon creating power supply agreements with them. Now, let's move on initiatives. Mark?
Yeah, so let's begin our analysis of initiatives with the electric vehicles and scooters problem. Electric vehicle charging market in Moscow today is characterized by the interest of large competitors and the simplicity of installing a charging station with their own hands, as well as a complete lack of infrastructure for charging scooters. But despite the limitations and high competition, prediction for the growth of electric transport allow us to understand that the market has great prospects. For example, the creation of charging station net and public electric scooter refills will bring Mosenergo 14 billion rubles in income.
All right, so carbon capture system installed near a CHP is an effective way to reduce the emissions by almost 90%, and the captured CO2 may be sold to oil extractors and agricultural producers to increase their efficiency, bringing Mosenergo 9 billion rubles in a 15-year term, producing hydrogen via water electrolysis and selling it to industrial fields would bring 10 billion rubles of NPV.
A power supply agreement with data centers is an opportunity for Mosenergo to increase the profits as there is a growing power demand and the increase of racks along with the low competitiveness. But at the same time, there are serious constraints such as inability of power supplier switch and high power supplier competitiveness. Consequently, PSA would achieve the net present value of 14 billion rubles.
Based on the geographical location of Moscow and Moscow region, as well as climatic feature, we can conclude that providing solar panel solution to the resident and customer is a low profitable solution with a yield of 6 billion rubles. The most suitable regions for generating electricity from solar panels are those with high insolation levels, southern and eastern parts of Russia.
Continuing on waste sorting and incinerating needs, there is also undeniable power demand growth. If we mix these factors together, it turns out a waste-to-energy plant can satisfy all three needs. Such plant would produce 500 to 600 kilowatts per ton of incinerating waste and would cost about 25 billion rubles to construct. Creating and maintaining a waste-to-energy plant would result in an NPV of 32 billion rubles and 21% internal rate of return. So, Zhenya, which initiative will we choose?
All right, let's quickly recap all the initiatives. So first of all, selling personal solar panels would optimistically result in 6 billion rubles of NPV, but it's likely that the initiative does not gain popularity at all. Working with data centers could result in a medium NPV of 14 billion rubles, but the area is highly constrained with different market peculiarities and barely benefits the public. Production of hydrogen could become profitable and beneficial to the public, but would only be realizable in the future. Creating an electric vehicle charging system infrastructure would be difficult due to many competitors, but could bring decent NPV of 14 billion rubles. Carbon capture systems are incapable of bringing profit, but are relevant and can save money in the future with 9 billion ruble NPV. So we are left with the waste-to-energy plant. It's beneficial to the public, it brings the highest income, 32 billion rubles, and scales really well in the future.
The waste-to-energy plant would perform with the start from the supply of waste, then the sorting materials, incineration of waste, filtration, and finally heat and power production. The economic efficiency would be covered by the scalability and long-term extension of the project. The idea is feasible, especially with the state support and renewable fuel sources. Structure compatibility is covered by the similarity with the modified CHP infrastructure and would affect social agenda by recycling waste, landfills decrease, and ecological improvement of Moscow region. Astimir, please reveal the details of our initiative.
Yes, Artur. For the project to be definitely successful, it requires the attraction of the funds from the state. So, why is the project necessary for the city and public? Firstly, in ecologically developed countries, the issue with garbage has already been worked out for many years. Waste is incinerated and recycled. Secondly, the president of the Russian Federation emphasized the importance of building such plants. He hopes that modern progressive companies will take up this issue of building them. Seems like a great opportunity. And of course, getting rid of landfills will open up new horizons for the Moscow government, building new transport hubs, residential areas, and so on. Mark, could you show us the roadmap?
Yeah, let me show you the path from the idea to the realization. First, there is a project and its documentation. Everything should be settled down between the state and Moscow. Next is the beginning of the waste storage unit construction to store the fuel from the launch in the future. Once the construction of the plant itself begins, the public relations should be managed so that process don't occur in the future. When the construction is finished, the plant may begin its operation and result in NPV 32 billion rubles, return on investment 128%, and rate of return 21%. But every successful project has its own risks, and Zhenya will tell us about how we will mitigate them.
Definitely. So the main problem that waste-to-energy plants may face are the issues of unsatisfied population who don't have the knowledge in the field of waste sorting and don't want to live next to such a plant. Emissions and construction costs might also be concerning. Social work with the population, state subsidies, and a multi-level filtration system for emitted air will help to avoid these problems.
To sum up, the budget of the project is 25 billion rubles that would be spent on the warehouse, the waste sorting technology, inventories, and building of the waste-to-energy plant. Plant would be built in 2025, so the strategy would achieve the internal rate of return of 21%, returns of investment of 128%, the net present value of 32 billion rubles. In appendices, you can find all the detailed information about our analysis and calculations. Thank you very much for your attention. This is the Churchella team with you. We will be happy to answer to any questions you may have.
Thank you very much for your presentation and perfect timing. And now we can start a Q&A session with our judges. All right. So, Araxia, you can take a word.
Thank you very much. I have several questions. First is, can you remind the cost of this plant? And the second one is, how can you scale your initiative? Is it possible? Thank you.
As for the first question, we have made a research and the benchmarking. So the cost of such a plant is around 25 billion rubles, as we already stated in our slides before. And the second question was about the scale. Obviously, there is a huge amount, as we already said, there is an increase in the amount of landfills in Moscow. So our the sources for our plant are renewable, and we can easily come back with our sources with the waste, so to improve the efficiency of the plant, and we won't lack any waste.
Yes, absolutely. And I think with waste-to-energy plants, it's exactly the case when more is better.
All right. So next question from Andrei from Moscow.
Hello, thanks for your presentation. The question is, what sort of state support do you take into account? Or you find that Moscow can realize that project by ourselves?
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for the question. So yeah, first of all, we can say about financial investments. So we present you this how this project would be beneficial for the government, for the Russian government, for the Moscow authority, and the president of the Russian Federation mentioned that it's a priority idea. And also, if you can see, in 2019, there were an amendment that incineration and recycling are equal, so they are on the same level. So this means that if the waste problem would be more popularized in our country, the waste would be would go to incinerating plants. And also, we want to say that some legislation here it's also provides us to work out better with some taxes and so on. Did I answer? Did I get your question correctly, or?
Yeah, you got the question correctly, but you haven't answered it. You know that Moscow had such a project, and we had no state support for that.
Yeah,
So we couldn't we couldn't get that project to the reality. And and one more moment, you must take into account that there are different stage of filtration when you are projecting and building such plants, and the cost of this plants will be different in 5 or 10 times. So I haven't clearly understood what plant and what kind of filtration you had taken into account in your project. Thanks.
So we've taken into account the kind of filtration that is used in European waste incinerating plants. And apparently, well, you might probably know this, in Germany and in Austria especially, these plants are located just in the city, among the residential areas, and they don't harm anyone. So that's definitely a feasible technology. And while talking about the money side of the question, we have taken the example of well, the United States incineration plants, well, practically the waste to energy ones, but accounted for the difference between well, building a plant there and building a plant in Russia. So this is exactly the budget that we were aiming for, 25 billion rubles.
And again, how we said previously, our president mentioned that we should construct 285 waste to energy plants. And we can say, according to our analysis, that right now we have only 160 plants. And according to the
just 10 seconds.
For Mosenergo plan, we will construct only 25 plants, and we will to improve this plan of Mosenergo and construct our own plants from waste to energy.
Okay, thank you very much for
Thanks, guys.
sum up. So, and we are moving on to the next team, and the next team will be financiste from different places to one destination with a very inspiring motto. So, are you ready, guys? Start sharing your screen.
Other guys need to stop sharing their screen so that we could share.
All right. So, Churchill, can you stop sharing your screen, please?
Just a second, please.
Thank you very much.
Then it's a tip for others teams that you need to stop sharing your screen before the next team will start. All right, so we see your presentation, and good luck, guys. You can start.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. We want to introduce our team Financista. Today, we'll present to you our initiative for the Mosenerga Income Increase project. Get ready to plunge into the variation of the solution presented by our team. Let us start with a short summary of our offer. My colleague Ruslan will tell you about that.
Thank you, Daria. So during this week, we conducted an analysis and a creative work and found 3 possible solutions to increase the profit. After that, we compared all 3 solutions and chose the most potential one to become the new income source, the mining farm. This solution derives an average annual revenue equal to 200 million rubles. And now my colleagues Anastasia and Christina will tell you more about our analysis insight.
Thank you, Ruslan. During the analysis, we found out that nowadays the world community is concerned about the ecological state of the planet, so the green trend is spreading to the electricity sector too. Many foreign countries are switching to renewable energy sources to reduce their carbon footprint. This trend has also affected the transport industry. Technologies for electrification of vehicles are actively developing in the world, predicting their growing popularity in any energy transition scenario. In Russia, and especially in Moscow, electrification was mostly about public transport, but in recent years, the popularity of electric scooters has been growing.
The next sector we looked at was, of course, IT industry, as this is one of the first things associated with electricity. We found out that in this sector, the huge part of electricity is consumed by special kinds of data centers, also known as cryptocurrency mining farms, the market of which is developing quite rapidly in Russia. The mining itself consumes the same amount of energy as Argentina, the Netherlands, and the UAE. So this is quite a promising field for Mosenerga to expand at. Now, let's turn to the ideas that appeared in our minds after learning this information with my colleagues, Daria and Nastya.
Thank you, Christina. The first group of ideas proposed by our team concerned the use of so-called renewable energy sources, the popularity of which is growing rapidly every day in undeveloped and developing countries due to the general global trend of transition to a single green environmentally cautious movement, such as solar panels, wind turbines, nuclear power plants, and last but not least, hydroelectric power plants. As you can see, we had to reject this point. The reason is that these initiatives might meet difficulties with legislation, high cost, and complexity of implementation, and of course, unsuitable geographic conditions of the Moscow region.
The next group of ideas is dedicated to transport industry. We examined the most popular types of electric transport: trains, cars, and scooters. The idea of supplying electricity for electric trains was rejected, since the companies in the sector already have their own suppliers with whom they have established close relations. We also decided not to work with electric cars, as Mosenerga already had such experience. There is no information why the company closed the project, but we believe there were good reasons for that. However, we are interested in electric scooters, as this market is actively growing and we have an advantage in the form of our own electricity.
As for the IT industry, there are 2 attractive ideas, both of which are related to cryptocurrency mining. The first one is a mining hotel, which was taken into consideration due to the fact that Russia is among the top 3 countries in terms of mining popularity. The second one is launch of a huge mining farm. Basically, cryptocurrency in Russia is equal to entrepreneurial activity and is quite profitable. So there is a demand for authorized premise for executing the activity. Now, let's dive into 3 variants we took into consideration: electric scooters, mining hotel, and mining farm.
Our first initiative is to create Mosenerga's own kick-sharing network. Our scooters will not run out of charge because parking lots for them will be equipped with chargings powered by Mosenerga. We plan to establish 833 parking stations around Moscow. We can also make more money by signing contracts with other kick-sharing companies, allowing them to charge on our parking lots. The project will recoup in 38 months and achieve net present value of 272.5 million rubles in 15 years. However, this idea has some drawbacks as well. These are its seasonal relevance, strong competition on the market, and the most important one, plan of Moscow government along with Rosseti to establish chargings for all kinds of electric vehicles around Moscow.
Our second initiative is establishing a mining hotel, a premise where we provide stable internet connection, cleaning services, and of course, electricity for people and entities who will place their equipment aimed to mine cryptocurrency. We will charge single placement payment and periodic electricity payments. The video cards are placed in containers and there is a simple cooling of the hotel. However, the main flaw of this idea is lack of guarantee that 4,500 farms will be registered as equipment. Besides, establishing a mining hotel allows Mosenergo to get net present value equal to 637 million rubles, which is significantly lower than the Mosenergo's profit as an electricity supplier. So this initiative is not the most economically profitable one. And finally, the efficiency from spending energy on mining hotels is incomparable to the efficiency from a mining farm, which you will hear about from our next speaker, Ruslan.
Thank you, Christina. Why should we let someone mine and use our energy when we can mine on our own? And that's our final idea, a mining farm. One of the main expenditures in mining is electricity. And as we can produce our own, we reduce this expense significantly. The farm itself will be situated near the grass tree in Elektrogorsk. The amount of farms equal to 4,500 pieces, with a consumption of 29 million kilowatt-hour per year. The mining is based on three cryptocurrencies, Ethereum, Bitcoin Gold, and Dell Cash, the most suitable currencies to be mined with our farms. Each 8 years, we will have to change our cards, as some of them break due to the intensive mining. To increase the productivity and reduce the amount of malfunctions, we purchase special equipment with immersion liquid as a cooling element. This is the best option for the industrial mining farms. For us to place all these boxes with liquid and farms, we purchase a land and build a 1-hectare warehouse. The proposed initiative will reach the net present value of 6 billion rubles in 15 years.
And now please pay attention. The moment of truth has come. We love all three of our initiatives. We've worked hard on each of them, but given Mosenergo's aim to increase income, we choose initiative number 3, the mining farm. This initiative, in our opinion, is the only one that fits the financial scale of a company like Mosenergo. So now let's dive deeper into financial part with my colleague, Ruslan.
Thank you, Anastasia. The total expenditures for 15 years equal to 4 billion rubles, with the ratio between capital and operational expenditures equal to 52% and 48% correspondingly. Both return on investment and profitability index present us positive figures, 172% and 1.33 correspondingly, which gives us an understanding that this project is worth investing. And as it was said before, at the end of 2037, we reached the net present value of 6 billion rubles, and the initiative starts to pay back in 2.3 years. And now we should consider all the possible risks within our project with my colleague, Daria.
Thank you, Ruslan. Our team has conducted an in-depth analysis of potential risks and the slightest difficulties that Mosenergo may face in theory. As a result of the work done, we had identified 7 possible risks in 3 different scenarios: positive, negative, and baseline, a visual representation of which you can observe on the slide. In most cases, we have a clear vision how to deal with them. And on a slide, we provide the way of mitigation for each of them. Now, let's move on to our team. At the end of our speech, we can say with confidence that any organization like Mosenergo bases its work on a variety of mechanisms and algorithms consisting of many links and parts. Our team may not be numerous, but each member is an indispensable part of one unified system. Without one part, all work can collapse. Let me introduce our team financista. Ruslan Timbekov, Anastasia Kosach, Daria Dosmagambet, Kristina Cherpatsyuk. We hope you enjoyed our presentation, and all detailed information you can see in the appendix. And if you have any questions, we are ready to answer for them.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Perfect timing. And now we have question from, let's start from Andrew.
Hi. You have rather good financial part, but is there interest for the company to enter such a risky sector? What would we do in a year or in 2 years when state will forbid the crypto money? Thanks.
Andrei, thank you very much for your question. Of course, we have understood this risk that the state can abandon the mining as it was in China. But in China, this was like a blow in mining. They even mined on CPUs. And that is, for Russia, we cannot say that the state will definitely abandon the mining. It can propose some restrictions for it, but we also calculated this possible risk. We have created, Daria, please show the appendix with the risk scenarios calculation. We also, here it is. We understood that the state, yes, can improve some, can show some restrictions, but these restrictions will not decrease the financials very significantly. So
Well,
I guess I tried.
I would like to add that restrictions that we expect are not really restrictions about cryptocurrencies, but we can expect some taxes, so it won't hurt us much. And if in some case, in any way, cryptocurrency mining will be banned in Russia, we can switch our mining capacities to data centers. So we will find the way to use this equipment in another way.
Okay, that's a good answer. Thanks.
Alona?
So I would like to thank team for great presentation and excellent presentation skills. So I have a question to you guys. Have you observed your competitors? Because in terms of scooters, yeah, it's clear that the market, let's say, is quite full, but related to mining farms and hotels, are there any other place on the market, and what will be your main competitive advantage versus them?
Of course, there are some competitors, but they're not so numerous. And when it comes to Moscow, the region we specialize in, there are no competitors at all, but they are so small that they cannot compete with us, because we will allow our clients better options, and the internet and the electricity will be in more capacity. And the main thing is that the price will be lower than most of our competitors offer. And of course, we have more place for placing the farms.
Okay, thank you.
That's the thing of establishing a farm by such a huge company, because we are planning to build one of the biggest farms in Russia. And so in cryptocurrency mining sphere, it's not really about competition, it's about production capacities, and we will have like the most of them. Thank you.
Dear judges, thank you very much for your questions. Dear participants, thank you very much for your presentation. And then now...
Good luck to next teams.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, and now I would like to remind our experts that you need to fill the evaluation form and assess the teams. So I will give you right now like 30 seconds for doing that. And the next team can start sharing the screen. So next team will be Bra.
So can you see the screen?
Yep.
So can I start?
Just take a deep breath, you know, and we will wait just 10 seconds until our judges will finish our evaluation form for previous teams.
Got it. Okay.
All right, and I think now you can start. Good luck, guys.
Okay, thanks. So, hello, dear colleagues. Hope you'll get some energy from Bro team. We're ready to start. Here we go. Here you may see the main blocks of our work. ESG trend is a global trend today to which millennials and Gen Z are particularly sensitive. They're trying to reduce the negative impact on the environment, including switching to electric vehicles. Already 2,000 people in Moscow and the region, they supported this trend. We will develop some initiatives with the infrastructure project to help reduce emission and increase some money. Sveta, here you go.
At first, we have outlined possible areas of markets, evaluating each according to 4 criteria: social agenda, feasibility, scalability, and profit. ESG business is the most perspective way. We have identified a number of alternatives for diversifying Montenegro's business: waste to energy, green mining, electric vehicle infrastructure. Waste to energy, Montenegro will capture biogas and generate it from its energy. The project was rejected as being non-profitable in terms of the use of investment income, the complexity of the sale of goods, as well as being into landfills. Potential income of 5.5 million per year. Green mining meant creating a green haven for miners who cannot sell dirty currencies on the market. The project was rejected due to volatility of the cryptocurrency, risks from mega regulators, and expensive electricity. Potential income 165 million per year. Among ESG activities, EV infrastructure is the most profitable option, earning 8 billion a year. Lena, your turn.
One of Moscow's main environmental problems is CO2 emissions, 90% of which come from cars. This makes Moscow the top 7 polluter in the world. And this doesn't suit millennials and Gen Z who choose ESG. At the same time, the problem is being raised both internationally and at the national level. The importance of the ESG trend has made EVs a rapidly developing field. In 2020, EV sales increased by 43%. By 2030, the production structure of car companies will change in favor of EVs, and in 2050, 8 out of 10 cars will be EVs. But EVs have their own features. Although their emissions are 3 times less than those of cars with internal combustion engines, they have a limited range and a long charge. Therefore, the lack of infrastructure is the main problem of EV development. Although the government is trying to solve this problem, in Russia, the issue of infrastructure is also acute. Tair, continue.
So that's why we offer the infrastructure project, which will solve the infrastructure problem in Moscow and the region. The purpose of this project is to achieve the goal of creating an infrastructure ecosystem of EVs in Moscow and the Moscow region based on innovative green power generation and recycling technologies to achieve in base scenario equality with the gas station, and in optimistic scenario 1:10 EV ratio by 2032. So infrastructure includes several initiatives. Let's go. So the first initiative is electric vehicle supply equipment with renewable energy sources. It involves the installation of solar panels at the charging stations. It's an optimal long-term solution. It's cheaper than conventional EFC in terms of maintenance. It fits into the concept of Moscow development and corresponds to the values and policies of Montenegro. The second initiative is the sharing service of power banks. Power banks will level out the problem of limited range of EV. The EV owner will be able to take through the app and return it when they need. So, Kazbek, there you go.
The fourth initiative is parking. Shopping center parking lots are equipped with chargers and a robot that drops them off and connects them to EVs. When the car is charged, the robot takes it away. This service can be ordered and paid for through the app. The fourth initiative, to further reduce the impact of the environment and develop a closed cycle economy, EV batteries will be used in RES and then sent for recycling. By surrendering the battery to Montenegro, a person gets a week of free EVC charging. For convenience of using our infrastructure, all services will be available from a single application, forming a single ecosystem. Here you can see the entire cycle of infrastructure project initiatives. Sveta, your turn.
Thank you. A detailed roadmap has been created for the infrastructure project from 2022 to 2032. In the first stages, EVSE and EVSE with RES, EV power bank and app will be created. Then e-parking and recycling and implementation. Guaranteed 2,000 people will use our initiative and a potential 565,000. As the technology, EV and infrastructure market develops, this number will increase from 15% to 50% per year. Lena, your turn.
We have distinguished general risks of an infrastructure project and specific risks for each initiative. General risks are divided into technical, consumer, regulatory, economic, and operational risks. All of them can be leveled. E-parking initiative risks are divided into technical, consumer, regulatory, and economic risks. Strategies are provided to level them. EV power banks risks are divided into technical and organizational risks. EVSE RES risks divided into technical, organizational, and operational risks. Leveling strategies are also provided. Kazbek, go on.
Your microphone is mute. Kazbek.
Turn your sound on.
Oh, I'm so sorry. In the future, e-parking and EVC initiatives can be developed by adding wireless charge technology. This was the Dobro team. Hope you recharge up. We'll be happy to answer your questions. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Bra. And we have the first question from Alona from Perfettivan Meller.
Hi guys, so thank you very much for your presentation. I would actually say that you choose a very complicated scenario and very complicated topic. Honestly, I have a few questions to you. First is whether you think that the market is ready for this, because it's a very big step inside, let's say, the country and in people mindset to do that. And my next question, I don't know how to ask them just step by step, or I can just ask my 3 questions and then guys will answer. So Ksenia, how do you think it's better?
I think it's better different questions. So
yeah, they're different. And how do you plan to get government support? And with which car manufacturers are you planning to cooperate? Because it's a big step that I haven't seen in your presentation, but it's a very valid and important point. And also, if it's related only to Moscow region, how people should travel to other regions, whether they find them, whether they find like charging and any equipment they need. So thank you, guys.
Okay, maybe I will ask you revise all your questions, and I'll start answering in a row. So yes, you're totally right. It's the very enormous maybe project, but as we said, we were planning to do it step by step. In the line of several years. Here in appendixes, you can see that we spread all initiatives with power banks, with e-parking, and with the EFC into 10 years and maybe more. So, and the most technological and maybe psychological difficult to realize initiatives we're trying to implement later on. For example, in 2025, 2027, something so. Concerning auto infrastructure, how did you say it? Automobiles, brands that we are going to cooperate. So it's not difficult to solve this problem, as we see, because there is statistics about the quantity of different marks of EV in Russia. For example, the most well spread EV in Russia is Nissan Leaf, for example, and we will option and we will construct our robot and this e-parking system to serve Nissan Leaf directly. And in the app, you can adjust the thing you need. So, and what was the last one? I don't remember.
The last one was related that not only to Moscow region, but if people are planning to travel outside Moscow, whether they find any equipment and charge stations there.
Yes, we were talking about it, and at first we would like to concentrate it on Moscow, then Moscow region, but then we will determine the main highways from Moscow to other places. So we will, after finishing the project in the Moscow region, we will choose the main options to create, for example, those EFC on the highways, for example, from Moscow to St. Petersburg, one of the most popular highway. And we will choose, we will analyze, and we will adjust them.
All right, next question from Andrew.
Hi, thanks for your almost brilliant presentation. I have 3 questions. The slide 3, you have mentioned that the agriculture has no social effect. The second question, I have seen that the solar panels you use for the charging stations. What's the role of Mosonega in that? And the third, what's new in your idea? Only scaling? Thanks.
So, okay, concerning agriculture, we were trying to, we were elaborating the idea to create all these agricultural ads for seeds and so on. And as we know, gas is using to create it. So that's why it's, but it's very contradictional topic concerning using gas in such initiatives. So that's why we thought that it wouldn't be so social related question. The second one, what was the second question? Could you please remind?
I do not agree with your answer for the first one.
We will have time for feedback.
Yeah. The second, the solar panels.
Yeah,
really short answer.
The solar panels, we're going to use them, and we will use them to the most optimal model that can serve themselves to make everything as cheap as possible.
And what's the role of Mosonega, though? And the third question, scaling.
Scaling, we can scale it, as we said, in Moscow region, then also the routes between cities, and we can sell the idea, the franchise of our projects to our cities, to our companies.
All right, and unfortunately now I need to stop your presentation because we are running out of time. Thank you very much for this discussion. So, we are ready to move on. So as usual, I will give like 30-40 seconds for our judges in order to fill the evaluation form. And the next team who is going to present for us, it will be the team 2 times 2, 4 nationalities, 4 birthplaces, 4 different origins, and 4 polar outlooks makes the best solution. All right, guys, so you can take a deep breath that we are waiting when our judges will be done with their task. And let's see. All right, I see all of you guys. You look really great and you have a really nice background. So I think we are ready to start. Are you ready to start?
Yeah.
Yes, we're ready.
Go on.
Good afternoon, dear colleagues. Today our team Teperь is happy to present you our business plan for Mosenergo. I'd like to start with the summary. So we had to create strategies which will increase sales of Mosenergo and definitely fit certain criteria. And what we have done, we conducted deep market analysis and analysis of our initiative. We have chosen the best strategy from our point of view, and that is production of hydrogen through electrolysis of water and further sale. And if we will have a look at the results, we may notice that the project is absolutely effective. Sabina, could you please tell us about the market condition?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Varya. To begin with, we decided to dive into the market and look at the trends, events, and the specifics of the industry. We found out that for energy company, the least profitable season is summer, and the time of the day is night. Having studied the energy distribution pathway, we came to the conclusion that customers of our company can be consumers, businesses, and the government. We also learned that the main trend, not only in the energy sector, but also in the world, is the reduction of environmental pollution. Based on the market analysis, we put forward our 5 initiatives. Dima, please tell us about the first one.
Thank you, Sabina. Let's start with one of our most unique ideas. It is a 24/7 amusement park. It will compensate the downtime for our resources during the night and especially in summer. One of the main costs of our amusement park is electricity, and Mosenergo can surely provide that. One of the weaknesses of the idea, which is almost equal to annual profit, and we are not sure if the company is willing to take the risk. Asya, what is our next idea?
Our next idea stands for ecological issues. It's invisible waste transport. How does it work? Trash is dropped in a bin, pressed in a container, and delivered to recycling plant through underground vacuum pipelines. This is a very promising idea, and it would help to solve many social and ecological issues. However, it would require large investments. It's quite hard to implement across the whole city, so it's not feasible right now. I bet you didn't expect our next idea. Varya, your turn.
Thank you. So this idea is completely different from the main business of Mosenergo. We offered to launch energy snack bars with the motto, time to get most energized. The main advantage of this idea is definitely the ability to work on the B2C market as well as the profitability. But unfortunately, the start of the production from the very beginning is quite costly, and contractual production is rather low quality. So also there are plenty of competitors, and this strategy has certain issues to be considered. Sabina, could you please tell us the next one?
Of course, modern people always want to stay connected, so they're in a great demand for chargers in public places. Based on this, we offer power banks that will interact with most of the target audience and will have fairly low maintenance costs. The main problem of the initiative is the presence of a major player who occupies most of the market. Therefore, it may be difficult to capture such a market share so that the strategy is profitable. Also, power banks does not involve promotion to sustainable development. Dima, please tell us about the next idea.
Thank you, Sabina. Last but certainly not least is the idea of production and realization of hydrogen. This is a worldwide trend, and the hydrogen energy market will only grow in further years. We propose to produce hydrogen by electrolysis, as this is the cleanest way of production. In addition, another product of water electrolysis is oxygen, which we could sell to many spheres. We plan to distribute hydrogen in Moscow region, and with potential expansion to the whole Russian Federation and abroad. The only significant drawback is that it is an evolving technology, and therefore the initial costs can be quite high. Varya, could you please sum up our ideas?
Surely. Let's have a look at the midterm results. So, by testing each of our ideas through criteria of successful project, we rejected one by one and ended up with the best one from our point of view, hydrogen production, which is profitable, realizable, energy-based, and definitely socially oriented. Sabina, could you please tell us about the hydrogen?
Of course. Hydrogen, according to the way of production, can be classified in the 5 categories, each marked with its own color. We chose the orange category because we already produce green electricity, which can be combined with the cleanest way of hydrogen production, electrolysis. In the world, attention is most often paid to green hydrogen, which is produced using electricity from renewable sources. In our case, this method is not very effective due to weather conditions, geography, and the existing structure of the company's business. Also, the recycling of wind turbines and solar panels is harmful for the environment. And in order to achieve zero emissions, we proposed the use of carbon capture usage and storage system. Dima, please tell us, how are we going to produce hydrogen?
Sure. Everything starts with the production of electricity. In the summer, our capacities are free enough to spend a part of it on hydrogen production. But in winter, the company capacities are loaded by 100%, which is why we suggest using battery power storage system. Part of energy can be stored and used during the peak periods for the production of hydrogen. We also need water, which we will take from the nearest water resources. In electrolyzer, water under the effect of electric current breaks down into hydrogen and oxygen. Oxygen is sold to various industries such as medicine and metallurgy. Hydrogen is collected in specialized tanks. From there, it is later sent to the consumers. Private clients, businesses, and governmental projects. For example, Moscow in the future years is planning to launch hydrogen buses, and they will need our fuel. What is our plan, Asya?
Here is the plan for our project. It all starts in 2022 with strategy development. Next quarter, broadcasting and purchase of equipment are made. Next year is for preparations. All equipment and plants are getting ready for hydrogen production. In 2024, the production itself will start, and it is expected to repay fully in 10 years' time. What risks do we have? And how we are planning to manage them? First of all, we have to consider that hydrogen is an explosive material. However, we can use some special materials for storage and transportation that are resistant to any explosions. Secondly, there may be not enough capacity for hydrogen production. As a solution, we can use batteries that are charged in low-capacity time zones, or simply use more power plants. The most probable risk is lack of qualified workers on the labor market. In this case, company has to prepare advanced trainings. The most dangerous risk is low demand for hydrogen. It is simply mitigated as hydrogen can be exported to foreign countries or used on our power plant. And the last risk is that hydrogen can be considered dirty. It is easily solved with usage of carbon capture systems that make our production more eco-friendly. What are the financial effects? Valia, can you tell us?
For sure. Let's have a look at the table, which represents the impact of growth rate of hydrogen market and inflation rate on our NPV. So we definitely may not predict our future. So that's why we expect NPV will vary from 320 to 365 million. That is our positive, negative, and baseline scenarios. Our key investments consist of equipment, for sure, also some reorganization, reconstruction, and installation works. And as far as our key operating costs are concerned, they include current activities, raw materials, water and electricity, payroll fund, and some other costs, which results in total amount of operating cost for 1 kilogram, 300 rubles. And if we'll have a look at the market price, we may calculate that the approximate margin will be 40%. So to sum up, let's have a look once again at our KPIs, which fit all the requirements, and we may conclude that the project is profitable and will definitely bring some new sales for Mosenergo. Thank you very much for your attention. It's time to get most energized. We will be happy to answer your questions.
All right, thank you very much for your perfect timing. So we have the first question from Alona. Alona, go on.
Thank you guys for your interesting presentation. I have one question. I'm not a chemistry person at all. But I have a question that in your presentation, I have seen that you calculated the equipment for Mosenergo that will need additional equipment to switch to hydrogen production. But what about final consumers? Whether the final consumers needs also additional equipment to start consuming hydrogen. So how do you plan to manage that part?
I would like to answer your question. Thank you very much. We chose, one of the parts why we chose this idea is that the market for the hydrogen is already growing. And I've told previously that there is already an example of the use of hydrogen, such as, for example, Moscow buses, which will have engines based on hydrogen. Also, hydrogen is in Russia. We start using hydrogen as a power source, and many people are using special stations in their houses for the consumption of hydrogen. It is it is easy for them, and it is cheaper for them. I hope that I've answered your question.
Partly, but okay. Thank you.
We have one more question from Andrew.
Hello. I would like to thank you for your almost excellent presentation. And I have no questions. I just wanted to endorse you. You had great work. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so do we have any questions from other judges? So if someone wants to, really nice. So Araxia, go on.
I have a tricky question. Imagine you have an opportunity to choose one more initiative. Your ideas.
Do you want us to choose from our initiatives or create another?
It's your question, so you just decide. The second initiative, which one is it going to be?
So I suppose that would be the underground vacuum transportation of trash, because that is definitely our future. Probably not the closest one, but I suppose in probably 20 years or 15 years, that would be applicable in the city or even in the whole country. And the biggest risk in this case is the legislation part. For example, it is necessary in Moscow to create some archaeological works in order to construct even the smallest building. So such huge project will definitely require the approval of the government. So I suppose that is the most interesting from all our ideas, except the hydrogen.
Thank you. Talking about risks, are you mentioning limitations of the project? You now mentioned the risks.
Which limitations do you mean concretely?
I mean, just now, Varvara told us about risks of new idea of underground vacuum transport of future. Is it the risk or it is a limitation of the project?
Well, the main risk of that project is that investments are quite high, and it is quite not feasible as it would demand a lot of legislation and paperwork. Here you can see the risks of hydrogen project, and the limitations of other projects are not included here.
I would like to add, you asked, is it a risk or a limitation? Right now in 2021, it's a limitation more, but in near future, it's very probably that this limitation will go away because, for example, in New York, this system is partially developed. So right now it's a little limitation, but in nearest 20 years, it's going to go away.
Thank you very much.
Did you answer your question?
Thank you, yes.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for the question. Okay, thank you, dear team, for your perfect presentation. And we are moving on. Just a kindly reminder that you need to stop sharing your screen. Yes, super, perfect. And as usual, I will give just 30-40 seconds for our judges in order to fill the evaluation form. And the next team can prepare and start sharing the screen. So the next team will be Это важно, and I would like to remind the interesting fact about this team because for me it sounds like really funny. So the name of the team came out by accident, and at every market analysis we refused to remove information, even the smallest, and all the time we said this is important, this should be left. So guys, did you have the same attitude for the final preparation? Just yes. All right, so that's really nice. And then I wish you good luck, and so you can start.
Okay, good afternoon, dear colleagues and jury. Our team Это важно is happy to be here, and now we want to present you our initiatives aimed at discovering new income sources for Mosenergo. Let me give you a brief summary. We analyzed Mosenergo's current activities and identified several problems connected with internal and external factors. You can see them on the slide. Based on these problems and current market trends, we developed 3 promising initiatives which can be implemented in order to increase Mosenergo's profits. We chose creating a subsidiary company in the field of energy consulting as the most effective initiatives of the company. Okay, let's start our journey from the market analysis.
Great idea, Max. So, when analyzing the market, we identified a number of problems that Mosenergo is facing today. Unfortunately, various internal and external challenges can lead to a decrease in the financial performance of the company. That is why the introduction of alternative sources of income is so important for Mosenergo. And in our opinion, it will help Mosenergo to cut down some of the risks and increase profits. But what sources can be chosen? Having analyzed a large number of reports, we identified 7 main technological directions for the development of energy companies. Comparing them according to 3 criteria, we identified 3 areas that are most relevant for Mosenergo and analyzed them in detail. As you can see on this slide, we have selected main trends in each of the chosen directions. In the field of electrification, we have identified a high demand for electric vehicles in Moscow and the region, and the public interest in their rental. In the use of digital and intelligent systems, we have discovered such technological facilities as intelligent active adaptive networks. Today, they are gaining popularity among manufacturers and considered to be highly efficient. And exploring the field of application of Mosenergo's expertise, we thought about consulting services. They can be created on the basis of the company and will definitely be in demand and bring significant profit.
Dasha, can you tell us about the first initiative?
Of course, to tell the truth, it is my favorite one. Our first initiative is the creation of an electric car sharing service and expansion of the EVCS network in Moscow and Moscow region. This initiative will allow Mosenergo to be among the first companies to enter the developing market of electric vehicles. The main incentives for the implementation of the initiative are depicted on the slide. And I would especially like to draw your attention to the broad support of the government, low car maintenance, and broad interest from the public. The implementation of electric car sharing in Moscow and Moscow region requires 4 main stages and a number of facilities, which unfortunately require significant costs. However, despite the high cost of implementation, the initiative has a number of environmental and social advantages and is also relevant for different parties. Thus, society, government, and companies express a high degree of interest in the creation of electric car sharing. I hope you enjoyed this initiative as much as I did. And now I pass the word on. Sonia, what is our second initiative?
Okay, our next initiative is connected with the use of Mosenergo's long-term experience in the field of optimization of electric power industry in practice. namely in the creation of the consulting group ME Consulting, which will provide comprehensive support and detailed analysis for Russian-based projects aimed at improving the energy resources. The implementation of the initiative doesn't require complex technical steps. It's important to find staff, provide with them with necessary information, so marketing and reputation will do the rest. After analyzing the competitors' affairs, we identified 6 main areas of activity of ME Consulting: project, environmental and social impact assessment, development and optimization process, financial analysis and risk management, and finally, building energy modeling, a new technological direction in the field of electricity power, which is not presented on the Russian market yet. Here the question arises, how we are better than other consulting firms and why should clients go to us? It's about competitive advantages of Mosenergo. All projects will be accompanied with qualified engineers and technical specialists from Mosenergo, professionals with many years of experience. Moreover, Mosenergo has stable operating indicators and own production-based equipment and remains one of the largest heat suppliers in the world. The initiative will make it possible to fulfill the company's social and environmental obligation, improve the infrastructure of companies, and promote the rational use of electricity. Nastya, but what can we offer in breakthrough areas such as IT and technology?
So our third initiative is creation, sale, and installation of an intelligent, active, adaptive network in other companies. But what does it do? So it connects all the elements of production with end users, helps to monitor all processes, identify errors, quickly respond to them, and collect all the necessary data for further improvements. Thus, it accumulates the needed amount of energy consumption depending on the end user's demand. For that, we need a combination of machine learning technologies and new facilities. Moreover, it contributes to the environment since 100% renewable energy system mechanisms are used and bioenergy is used and consumed at a sustainable level. It also helps to reduce costs and is able to take work to the next level. Max, can you please tell us whether these initiatives are economically efficient?
For sure. Unfortunately, despite its innovativeness, the idea of car sharing will generate a loss due to high barriers to entry into the market and high capital costs at the start. The NPV will be about minus 157 million rubles. IRR is minus 4% and ROI is minus 15%. At the same time, the creation of its own consulting division will bring the Mosenergo 223 million rubles of income. For which invested ruble, Mosenergo can receive a profit of 25 kopecks. The net margin of this project will be about 20%. The most technologically complex initiative, creation, sale, and installation of an intelligent active adaptive network will bring the company only 64 million rubles. Moreover, it will become profitable only in 2023 due to a small number of clients in the first year of implementation. The IRR will be about 20%. Mosenergo will be able to return its investments only after the third year. Also, each ruble spent on expenses will bring the company 6 kopecks of additional income. Summing up, we decided to compare the initiatives not only in terms of the financial attractiveness, but also through an assessment of their effect on the environment. To do this, we used the ecological, social, and governance criteria because of their popularity and high impact on the value of the company's business. As you can see in the picture, the initiative with car sharing performed highly in terms of ESG. Consulting idea has a high governance impact, while intelligent adaptive networks idea quite positive social impact. Nevertheless, the most profitable is the consulting initiative. So we recommend Mosenergo create its own consulting division because it will allow company receive sustainable income without high capital investment. Nastya, will you tell us about the roadmap?
Yes, sure. So we have divided all the steps into several groups depending on the effect that will bring to our initiative. So we've covered a few fields from identifying the key interested parties to launching a marketing campaign. We've also considered such details as identifying KPIs and key areas for the development of a consulting agency. On the whole, you can tell that the preparatory stage will be completed by October 2022, which will allow Mosenergo to start making a profit as soon as possible. But seems like we will have to deal with some risks. Sonia, can you please tell us about possible obstacles?
Well, there are no good ideas without risks. We assessed the main risk of the initiative and identified 4 main areas: market, finances, technology, and personnel. All risks you can see on the screen. The main risks that Mosenergo will have to face in the baseline scenario are lack of demand for services, competition from large consulting campaigns, the increase in prices for technical equipment, technical failures, and risk of luring specialists to large consulting firms. But as you can see, all of them can be mitigated due to conclusion of sales contracts, implementation of an active marketing campaign, emphasis on quality and experience in the field of energy, and constant technology improvement. And here we are. Thank you for your attention. We hope you liked our presentation as we did. All detailed information can be seen in the appendix. We will be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much for your presentation. And Aliona, you can ask your question.
Always the first one.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
So thank you guys for your brilliant ideas and very interesting presentation. But I would like to ask you about the risks. I cannot have not enough time to read all your slides related to risk, but are you aware that in the crisis times, the first budget that company cuts its consulting budget? So how do you plan in such, let's say, tough times for all of us to launch new consulting company, and what will be their key benefits? What will be what this company can brings new to the market versus Big Four and other competitors?
Actually, we analyzed all consulting firms that are presented now in the Russian market. Can you please open the appendix? I suppose it's here. Yes. We analyzed all consulting firms, their suggestions, their area of consulting, and we have found that only one firm, one small firm, has the same area as Mosenergo has. It's actually Orgres, and Orgres has all contracts from government, from companies, from end users, but it's small company. It's not as big as Mosenergo, not as proficient, not as old, and not as wide presented in the market. So if we have Mosenergo in the market, the clients will go to us. And also in the risk, we assessed a lack of demand. Can you go please back to the risk again? I'm sorry. And we suggesting conclusion of sale contracts and receipt of public tenders. They will help us because government is also interested in rational use of energy resources. And also implementation of marketing strategy. Marketing is everything in our world.
Thank you.
All right, maybe we have more questions from our judges.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah, sure.
How do you think the company should switch? Because Mosenergo, I guess they are now using consulting companies to optimize their business. How they switch to be a consulting company by themselves? I think it's a complicated process.
I think you're right, but I think that Mosenergo used more strategic consulting, while our idea is like operational consulting connected with the technical part of the project. Yes, so we have such specialists that can use their experience of work in the Mosenergo to help other companies reach their goals in the operational efficiency.
Thank you very much.
All right. And thank you very much, Это важно, for your presentation and really interesting idea. And we are moving on. So as usual, I will give 30-40 seconds for our judges in order to fill the evaluation form. And last but not the least, we will have the final presentation from Lucky Charms. So you can start sharing your screen, go to full format presentation, and take a deep breath, and just 20 seconds more that our judges will be done, and we will start. All right. I think you can start. Good luck.
Good afternoon, dear jury and participants. We are Lucky Charms, and today we are going to present you our initiatives of alternative revenue sources for Mosenergo. To begin with, we have analyzed the market and revealed the following directions of activities: sustainable development, smart city transformation, and alternative ones. In particular, we were able to obtain such information by looking at the global players in the energy market and their new initiatives. Based on this, we were able to develop 3 ideas that could suit Mosenergo. And we have chosen only one. It is production of light emitting diodes, and which initiative will be profitable and bring near 6 billion rubles in the 10-year perspective.
I would like to introduce you to a Moscow citizen, Ivan, who likes to read about new trends on his way to work. Today he found some market analytics concerning the energy production sector. Let's have a look. Nastya, please tell us more about the details.
Trends show that electricity producing companies develop their business in 3 directions. The first one is smart city. It includes modernization of public transport and shift to electric vehicles, change of city lighting using LED lamps, and smart parking, which shows available parking lots for citizens. The second direction is sustainability. Companies try to decrease carbon dioxide emissions, so they use biofuel, wind and solar energy. In Russia, it is not so widely used as in Europe, and we have some obstacles like lack of investments in infrastructure. For sure, the profitability is also questionable. Alternative directions of development concern production of medical equipment like General Electric, invention of new energy accumulation means.
Well, Ivan understands that the smart city is a direction of development for Moscow, but he sees that there is still something to add. For example, how to avoid icicles and slippery roads in winter, which cause injuries of people. Luba, what about the smart city initiative?
The initiative already presented by Mosenergo is related to the heating of sidewalks and bus stops. However, we had something to offer. We proposed to heat storm drains, roof contours, and curbs. The snow mountain that usually exists along the road would melt into the drain once it is heated. This type of technology is used in Japan. It can help reduce costs for manual labor. Roof contour heating can prevent icicles from appearing, which would decrease the number of accidents with the fall of icicles. Curb heating can also reduce the snow mountains along the road. But the most negative consequence of these initiatives is the reduction of working places by more than 100,000 people and wasted investments into equipment. Moreover, curbs are replaced relatively often, and it could be inefficient and costly for the government to install heating each time the curbs are changed, so it may refuse to install such a heating. What about the roof contour heating? The cost burden may fall on citizens, and they would not want to pay for that.
Ivan wonders whether it is possible for Mosenergo to install huge energy accumulators. We analyzed the drivers for the development of energy storage and figured out the real need in this. That is why we considered possible options which can be broadly divided into mechanical, thermal, electrochemical, and electrical. We figured out that the traditional and most common are mechanical systems, example of which is a pumped storage station or air compression system. However, these systems are quite difficult to install due to technology problems, construction time, and questionable economic efficiency. Another alternative would be the electrochemical batteries, in particular lithium-ion batteries, which are just beginning to be mass developed. And this initiative would be good if not for the current lack of infrastructure, as this type of battery would be well used in a smart city. That is why we doubt that this initiative is the best we can offer.
Ivan understands that accumulators are a thing of the future. How is it possible for the population to save some energy now? Katya, let's move to alternative initiative.
Let's start with the LED industry analysis. Almost half of the lighting systems in Russia are replaced with LED, and the state program aimed at the substitution is 30% complete. So we see that these trends are negative for Mosenergo because LEDs consume less energy. In this case, we propose Mosenergo to be at the top of this trend and produce these LEDs to avoid losses, so it would not lose its revenue. As Machiavelli said, if you can't beat it, just lead it. So LEDs are used in many spheres, in city and home lighting, and in the production of advertisement digital banners. And the biggest competitors are Clever and GS Electric, which have launched its production in the last year. So they propose the most demanded types of LEDs and a wide range of supporting services like customization. We see Mosenergo could enter the market of LED, which is just developing in Russia. Nastya, it would be nice to dive into details.
We plan to produce several types of LEDs, modules, clusters, and strip light, as they cover 90% of demand in Russia. While our competitors don't offer clusters and strip light, elements can be customized. They can be adapted to the client's needs. We also offer full support of a project, test of final goods to check the quality. Speaking of plant construction as an option, we can suggest the area of Moscow region of Mytishi. After analyzing the real estate market, we found many options for commercial areas at a relatively low cost. In addition, part of this area can be considered industrial, as many factories are located there. Of course, we are not excluding alternative options. You may wonder who our potential buyers are. Let's discuss them. Potential buyers are the administration of Moscow, which would buy our LEDs for state programs. Car producers can also buy our LEDs. One of the most promising projects is collaboration with producers of digital outdoor advertising banners. The market is growing very fast, by 25% per year, and more companies use this type of banners. Banners consist of LEDs and their energy consumption is huge. It is highly likely that with our LEDs, we will create Moscow Times Square like in New York really soon. The advantages of these initiatives are difficult to overestimate. It is the creation of a smart city, additional working places, possibility to participate in state contracts, and so on.
LED production will be economically effective. Almost 3 billion investments will be required. This will allow for 10 years to increase the production of LEDs to 1.5 billion units by 2030. This will satisfy the needs of an ever-growing market. This will help to completely replace LED imports with national production. We expect the launch of the first trial batch in 2023 and the constant expansion of the types and quantity of products.
And we considered several risks and highlighted the main ones. We suppose that companies can substitute our products with the cheaper analogs. However, to avoid it, we can participate in significant governmental projects with our LED lights. Apart from that, we are a little bit scared that we will face with difficulties entering the market, and we can mitigate it by appropriate marketing strategy, increasing recognizability and making emphasis on the company's reputation. It is also possible that the local population will protest against building a factory, but in this case, we will construct it farther from big living complexes, and the factory construction might be delayed, but we will increase the pace of construction after we find out weak points. And we will level price increase by concluding long-term contracts with trustworthy raw material suppliers. And now our Ivan is happy and ready to celebrate the new year. And we are Lucky Charms. You can see all the detailed analysis in the appendices. Thank you for your attention. Now, dear judges, let's discuss the details.
Okay, thank you very much. And yes, let's discuss with details, a bit more detailed. So, Andrew, your turn.
Hi, thanks for your presentation. I have 2 questions. What for would Mosenergo start the new production in the unfamiliar to us sphere? And why do you propose to build a factory not connected ideologically to Mosenergo on the most expensive earth in Russia? Thanks.
So probably I can answer the first question. So we suggested this kind of initiative due to the fact that Mosenerga in any case will come across this kind of problem with the introduction of LUTs and its spread. So we would like to suggest to lead this trend. So, and as we said, if you can't beat it, just lead it. So that is why this initiative will reduce our potential loss. And answering the second question, so what about the location? We just looked at the suggestions on Xi'an, and we figured out that there are so many spots for commercial areas to install a plant, and we couldn't really figure out that it is the most expensive land. But anyway, we didn't exclude any other options.
And I can add to the last answer that for our Moscow clients, it would be more comfortable to order from our company because of the proximity of our plant to Moscow region. So they can reduce transportation costs and time to deliver the products. So for them, it's more convenient because they won't expect any delays in their projects. And for example, advertisement banners placement.
Okay, thank you. Next question will be from Alona.
So thank you, ladies, for very nice presentation. I have one question: how you're going? How are you going to manage the huge amount of imported lamps from China, especially? So we are not talking about this year when they became quite expensive, all Chinese products due to logistic crisis, but in a normal market situation, China is all the time cheaper versus local production. So how do you plan to manage this part, and how do you plan to make our local produced lamps attractive for consumers?
I can answer this question. According to our analysis, the LEDs and modules of Chinese importers are of lower quality than, for example, Russian producers. And apart from that, we offer quality tests of our production. So our clients will be sure that the quality is good and there will be no problems with the parts, with the particles.
I can add, to participate in state programs, the modules need to be produced by Russian companies. So in this case, it will be easier to participate in governmental programs.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and I think we have one more question from Andrew, right? Or maybe not. Okay, so if we don't have any questions, thank you very much, Lucky Charms, for your presentation. And now, dear judges, I would like to remind you to fill the evaluation form because we are done with our final presentations, and now I will tell you what is going to happen next. So, dear participants and experts, thank you very much for your attending. And now we will have a break. Yeah, break will take like 18 minutes before 2:15, and after that we will move on to the next stage of our final. It's a blitz, which you heard from the opening ceremony. So just have a break. Thank you very much. All right, so hello everyone one more time, and I hope everyone was able to have a rest and recharge before the next stage of the final. So, yeah, we are moving on to the next step of our final, and before we get to it, I will show you a leaderboard based on the results on the presentation of your solutions. So let's see. All right, so everyone is excited. I think I need to have this kind of music. All right. So, and I will quickly comment our results. The first team who is going to participate in our in our Blitz quiz, it will be Churchill, and according to the final according to the rating of the first stage of our final, the first place is the first place has a team 2 multiplies 2, and like I'm happy for you guys. The next team is Financiste. The third team is Это важно. The fourth team is Bra. The fifth team is Lucky Charms, and the sixth team is Churchill. And remember that it was only first stage, and you can show your skills, and I hope you were practicing a lot for Blitz, so you can change this situation. And I will stop sharing this leaderboard. So all right. Okay, and so let's start the second round, a Blitz quiz. It takes place in 2 circles, on which one we ask 1 question to each team, and you already pre-selected 2 participants who will participate in our Blitz quiz, and you have 30 seconds to think and respond. So I will ask you to turn on the cameras only for those participants who participate in the Blitz, and turn off the cameras and microphones for the rest of us. It will be easy for me to see who is going to answer. So, all right, I will just prepare a little bit. And we will start with the first team, Churchill. And so, Margaryan Artur, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, so, and I will tell your question, and you will have 30 seconds for answering. Okay. So, who will sort the garbage if it's taken from the general pile, especially mixed garbage, plastic plus cardboard? Will people sort the garbage themselves if there is not enough legislation for this?
Well, as we told, we are going to build a warehouse special, so we would pay the money. It is in our OPEX. We would pay money so to let the garbage to enter nearby the plant where is the warehouse, and the main reason for the warehouse is to sort the garbage that we could use for the plant, that we can use for the plant, and the garbage that we are going to keep for future, because our technologies and the technologies.
Right. I'm sorry, I need to stop you here. So 30 seconds is done. Thank you very much. You were the first. It's always complicated to be the first one. So, and we are moving on for the next team. And also I would like to remind our judges that you need to evaluate the answers from the teams, and remember to listen carefully. So, and the next team, it will be Financiste, Kasach Anastasia. Are you here?
I'm here.
Okay. All right, super. Then I will tell a question for you. So switching from mining farms to data center mining requires disabling data centers capacities and thus disabling many websites. How exactly do you deal with that? Time starts.
So we are not gonna switch from mining to data center mining. We're just gonna switch from mining to sending data centers for rent. It is two different activities. So the second one is not connected to mining. So we will use our capacities.
I'm sorry.
About...
I need to stop you because 30 seconds already is done. So thank you very much for your answering. And we are moving to the next team, and just kind of reminders that like we have only 30 seconds for each team, and it's important because it's a blitz and everyone should be in the same conditions. So try to be as concrete as you can and really short, like unbelievable how good skill it is. So, and the next team will be Bra, and the representative from the team is Tarakanova Svetlana. Are you here? Are you with us?
Yes, hello.
All right. So then I'm gonna read the question. And most of the Moscow population lives in apartments, and they use the street as a parking place. Where do you suggest people put solar garages?
Okay, thank you for the question. First of all, we want to ease the using of power banks and to use it with parking, with outside. So you can get your power bank and go, for example, on city parking and use it. The second one, that the city parking is not very numerous. So our idea will help to make this parking more and more popular between the people. So our rest will help it.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer. So almost perfect timing. I see everyone is learning how to answer quick. So, and yeah, dear judges, remember that you need to fill the evaluation form. And we are moving to the next team. It's 2 multiplies 2. So Tselikov Dmitry, are you here? Are you with us?
I'm ready for the question.
Super, I really like this attitude. So then I'm reading. Making hydrogen with natural gas is a lot more efficient than via water electrolysis. Why did you not use natural gas production?
Yeah, so the main operation of Mosenergo is creation of net electricity, and in ecological standpoint, making it from gas is polluting the environment. So that's my answer.
Super, thank you. Very short and very concrete. Probably you were preparing for that. So you practice a lot. And we are going to the next team, Это важно. And the representative from the team would be Budkovskaya Sofia. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, super. And the question is, there are not many companies in the electricity sector. Who are you going to consult? Your competitors?
Not really. We are going to consult every company that are interested in rational resources and rational usage of electricity. It can be companies that produce oils. It can be companies that are just energy demanded. It can be large production like an LMK and other companies. And of course, it's government, because government is one of the most interested party of rational usage of electricity. That's my answer.
Thank you very much for your answer. And we are moving to the next team, Lucky Charms. And Karnitska Anastasia would answer the question. Are you here? Yeah,
yes,
I can
I'm
see.
Here.
Okay, so then I'm reading the question. How are you going to convince building dwellers, villagers, to spend money on installing roof heating. This issue is not decided by the city government.
So as we mentioned in our presentation, this idea is not convenient for Mosenergo because the cost burden will fall on citizens. So we suppose that most of them will reduce to install roof heating. That's why this is inefficient, and there is no need to convenient and somehow to install roof heating.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer. And now we are going to have the second round with another representatives from your team. So like deep breath, and we are moving on. So the next question will be to Churchella, to Pryatka Evgeny. Are you here?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, super. Then I'm reading the question. And the question is, what is the detailed mechanism of processing biogas to energy in your project?
Matter of fact, the conversion from burning fuel to electricity production is pretty much the same as within CHP. So once the fuel is burned, we have the water and the steam that rotate the turbine and later produce the electricity. If I understood your question correctly, that should be the answer for it.
Okay, thank you very much. And I would like to remind our judges that they need to fill the evaluation form after every response from the team. And we are moving to the next question for Financisti, for Etenbekov Ruslan. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, super. Then I'm going to ask you, what are the social benefits of implementing mining farms?
Actually, you see, as we use the special system with the immersive liquid, and as you know that a lot of heat is produced by our mining farm, we can use this heat to heat, for example, streets, to heat, for example, the lake in the Elektrogorsk, and to heat, for example, roofs and anything in bus stops. So this is our social benefit.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer. Yeah, it would be actually very nice if like streets would be a bit more, like a bit warmer than now during the winter time. So like now I'm in Finland and it's really cold. So I would like to have this system. Yeah. And we are moving to the next team. It's BRA, and the representative will be Korolyova Yelena. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, super. I hear you too. So, and the question is, how does the company plan to mitigate the risk which associate with a shortage of raw materials necessary for the production of Li-ion batteries?
Well, we expect to buy Li-ion batteries, and we analyzed the market. So we acknowledge that there are some new fabrics that produce new Li-ion batteries, and we expect to buy from them in order to prevent some lack of raw materials with our usual sellers.
Okay, thank you very much. Like really perfect timing. And we have a next question for the team 2 multiplies 2 for Tselikova Sabina. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I can see you. So the question is, how do you solve the problem that there are no available and property implemented CCUS, carbon capture, utilization and storage projects in Russia?
Okay, it's not a problem. We can import it from other countries. For example, in Europe, this system is already used. And what is the problem to be the first in Russia and to be the first and the best to start? I guess that's my answer.
Thank you very much. You're going to disrupt the market. All right, so the next question for Это важно team. And representative will be Krivko Daria. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Super. And the question is short but tricky. So what will make people use your EV car sharing instead of your competitors?
Well, thank you for your question. It's an interesting one. I think that we have a lot of competitor advantages, and the first one is the price, and the second one is that Mosenergo has a lot of EVCs in Moscow, actually 30, and we propose to build 70 more. So these are the main advantages of our initiative, and also it's eco-friendly.
Okay, thank you very much for your answer. And the last question of our second stage Blitz quiz will be for lucky charms for Besedina Yekaterina. Are you with us?
Yeah.
All right. So, and the question is that since LED lamps are very long lasting and consume very little energy, the number of lamps sold is unlikely to cover the decline in electricity use. How do you suppose to avoid such a gap?
So I would like to mention firstly that the number of facilities, the number of objects that require this kind of labs is huge. And that is why, in order to modernize all this city, Moscow city, and the infrastructure, it will take a lot of LEDs to install. And that is why the costs associated with the LEDs production are less than the expected profit. And that is why we assume that...
Okay, thank you very much for your answer. And yeah, so we are pretty done with with our last team for the second round. And thank you to all participants and judges. And I will give just 20 seconds for our judges to finalize the results of for each team. And we are moving to the next step. So just I need for myself 1 second. All right, so now I'm going to bring you a new case, and you will have 30 minutes to discuss possible changes in your solution based on new data, and you will have only 1 minute to finalize the pitch. For this, you need to select 2 team representatives who didn't participate in the Blitz quiz. So, yeah, just a second. All right, yeah, I have some technical issue. All right. So, and yeah, some of my colleagues shared the screen and I didn't see that. So I thought that we don't have a picture. And yeah, so actually you have like 30 minutes in order to solve in order to in order to understand what kind of new briefings you have like in your solution. Can I ask for the next slide, please? So I think my colleagues will share with you this one in the chat, like to more detailed. And so you have 30 minutes in order to understand what task you have and to adjust your solution for that. And you will have 1 minute for pitching. So choose 2 representatives from each team. Yeah, and now my colleague shared the link for the folder where you can find your task. Can you please go for 1 slide back? All right. Yeah, so your pitch task is that like you need to modify your solution, take into account that the legislation regulating the reduction of the carbon load from the activities of the fuel and energy sector came into force at the federal level. And so how will this affect your decision? Will it affect or not? So you need to analyze it, and you have 30 minutes for doing that. And I wish you good luck, guys.
Мы будем звонить вашему бывшему руководителю, что он поставит вам по 10-бальной шкале и какие плюсы и минусы выделит. Фишка в том, что этот вопрос мы задаем всем, но, конечно же, звоним мы не всем. Обычно мы собираем рекомендации, если это какая-то позиция, ну, там, топ-уровня. В нашем случае это те, кто на грейде senior и выше, собственно, специалисты там, с опытом работы от 2 лет минимум. Но, в принципе, если мы понимаем, что мы берем какого-то специалиста, особенно узкого профиля, но, может быть, не на такой высокий грейд, то тогда мы тоже звоним и спрашиваем рекомендации о бывших руководителей. Но, наверное, тут важно еще добавить, что может быть ситуация, когда рекомендации ваши собирают, но у вас не спрашивают, а можно ли это делать. И тогда, конечно же, это не очень красиво со стороны там, потенциального работодателя, потому что всегда базовое правило, там, что дача обратной связи, что сбора обратной связи, нужно спрашивать разрешение. А еще желательно, чтобы человек сам дал контакты руководителя, у которого можно взять эту обратную связь. Вот, поэтому тут как бы такая базовая история, да, спрашиваем, возможно, не у всех кандидатов, у кого говорим, что спросим, но очень важно, чтобы еще кандидат сам согласился дать контакты и дать разрешение на сбор этих рекомендаций. Ну, самый простой ответ на этот вопрос — максимально честно. Отвечать честно, быть открытым, потому что любой кейс с какой-то недостоверной информацией, там, которую ты предоставляешь как кандидат там, нанимающему менеджеру или HR, он обычно скрывается, и вспоминая про то, что мы собираем рекомендации, скорее всего, какой-то кейс, он может скрыться дальше в ходе отбора. Вот, поэтому нужно честно говорить, если был какой-то конфликт, то говорите честно, что был конфликт потому-то, потому-то, проговаривая, опять же, честно, открыто все обстоятельства конкретной ситуации, в рамках которых произошел конфликт. Если же конфликта не было, то тем более, да, как бы, если вам стало скучно на работе, ну, скажите, что мне не нравились мои задачи, я хочу сейчас более амбициозных. Или если просто захотели поменять сферу, тоже, в принципе, это файн. Да и, в принципе, мне кажется, что нет никакого кейса и варианта развития событий, при котором нужно было бы скрывать вам, как кандидату, перед там, HR, почему вы уволились. Потому что, опять же, сокрытие какой-то информации не даст вам никакого профита в дальнейшем. Этапы отбора, их несколько, они дублируют друг друга периодически, и в конце концов, даже если вы там что-то скроете или соврете, потом нечаянно вдруг вы забудете про это и ответите по-другому на тот же самый вопрос на следующем этапе. Вот, поэтому будьте честны, и тогда все будет классно. А если уволили, то так и скажи, меня уволили. Вот, ну правда, почему как бы так стоит отвечать? Потому что если мы в рамках отбора понимаем, что у нас, по-моему, есть какие-то сомнения по кандидату, то мы, скорее всего, пойдем к бывшему руководителю и спросим, а что, какая ситуация была? Расскажи, пожалуйста, свое видение. 90% вероятности, что все вводные, они вскроются через какое-то время. Более того, не дай бог, если это вскроется после того, как мы сделали уже оффер, и человек вышел на новое место работы, а потом он такой, ну вообще-то вот я там наврал, меня уволили. Ну, то есть, типа, это сразу минус к репутации человека в компании, поэтому, ну, бывают разные обстоятельства, увольнение тоже может быть по разным причинам. Сокращение, потому что кризис. Может быть сокращение, потому что ваше направление стало там неэффективным в компании, в принципе. Или если вы плохо работали, возможно, просто потому что у вас были не те задачи, не та роль в компании, и это нормально. Просто, возможно, в новой компании вы найдете то место, которое вам будет более релевантно, и вы сможете раскрыться лучше. Тут, наверное, мой совет первое, ну, в принципе, ориентироваться на свои хотелки. Есть какой-то ваш там минимальный уровень дохода, на который вы ориентируетесь, который для вас приемлем. Это с одной стороны. С другой стороны, посмотреть по рынку. Вообще, что компании, в которых трудят такие же позиции, они предлагают. То есть, какие вилки по зарплатам, ну, условно, просто посмотреть, поискать на HeadHunter подобные позиции и уже сориентироваться, какая средняя вилка в данном рынке. И с третьей стороны, это смотреть на тот заработок, который был у вас на предыдущем месте работы, ну и поставить какой-то плюс 10, 15, 20% сверху, что, в принципе, тоже будет релевантно. Но, наверное, еще нужно понимать в этом вопросе, что не стоит там, ставить условно x2 относительно предыдущего уровня дохода, потому что, ну, опять же, если это компания, которая хорошо проводят отбор, в которой четко выстроены процессы, то они у вас спросят, а сколько у вас было на предыдущем месте работы, и поймут, что, ну, вообще-то вы просите x2, и, наверное, это там не очень релевантно к вашему бэкграунду. Например, особенно если вы начинающий специалист, который считает, что он классный, который там прокачался за полгода в одной компании и сейчас там планирует идти на X2. Но опять же, это все типа кейс-to-кейс, поэтому, да, смотрите рынок, смотрите, какие возможности у компании, куда вы отбираетесь, и ориентируйтесь на какое-то свое самоощущение. Сложный вопрос, потому что ответ на него может разниться относительно компании и той культуры, которая есть в компании, и культуры отбора, которая есть в компании. Базово, наверное, что хотят услышать, это то, а вообще понимаете ли вы, куда вы проходите отбор? То есть действительно ли вы мотивированы на компанию и на позицию? Знаете ли вы, какие требования к вам как кандидату, какие задачи у вас будут? Периодически даже из моего опыта работы есть кейсы, когда человек такой отвечает, что ну, вы же мне сами позвонили, в смысле, как бы, ну вот, я и пришел. И это точно не тот ответ, который от вас ждут на этот вопрос. Стоит отвечать, опять же, в рамках вашего бэкграунда и подсвечивать ваши достижения, которые релевантны позиции. Просто какие-то классные кейсы, которые покажут, что вы действительно прокачаны в тех навыках, которые ждет от вас компания на позиции, куда вы подаетесь. Если это тот же самый ивент-менеджмент, то покажите, что вы тот самый крутой ивентщик, который сделает максимально классный ивент относительно бюджета и запроса компании. Если вы классный проект, то так и расскажите, что я тот самый проект, который сделает так, чтобы проектная команда была максимально счастлива и клиент был счастлив. И вот мои пруфы в моем опыте работы. Вот, поэтому, да, просто подсвечивайте ваш бэкграунд профессиональный и покажите, что вы знаете, куда и зачем вы подаетесь. Стресс-интервью — это интервью, в котором кандидату очень некомфортно, и в котором очень комфортно HR или нанимающему менеджеру, потому что это сразу неравные условия для двух сторон, и это, в принципе, неправильно. Почему это неправильно? Потому что стресс-интервью в сравнении с другими типами собеседований, оно не дает принимающей стороне вас как кандидата понять и раскрыть. Потому что, в принципе, если копать глубже, то интервью и процесс отбора в какую-то компанию уже, в принципе, сам по себе стрессовый фактор. Потому что новые люди, которых ты видишь первый раз, и кандидата ты видишь первый раз, и он тебя видит первый раз, и все такие немножко некомфортно. Поэтому уже есть тот уровень стресса, который может немножко снизить уровень кандидата относительно его какого-то нормального состояния. А если еще и давать какой-то стресс-фактор дополнительный, то обычно кандидаты вообще ломаются и либо очень сильно закрываются, либо просто показывают себя очень плохо, хотя на самом деле не могут быть классными специалистами, просто потому что каким бы стрессоустойчивым человек не был, он не справится с таким двойным стрессом и вообще страшно, непонятно, больно. Вот. И так делать не надо. Если вы понимаете, что сейчас компания на вас тестирует стресс-интервью, ну, самый простой способ сказать, что, по-моему, у нас сейчас с вами стресс-интервью, и мне кажется, что в рамках этого отбора я могу показать себя не так классно, как мог бы. Мое субъективное мнение, что если компания проводит стресс-интервью, два варианта. Либо у компании не очень классная корпоративная культура, и они постоянно работают в стрессе, и они знают, и поэтому не тестируют. Нанимающий менеджер или рекрутер или HR-менеджер не разбираются в том, какой способ отбора наиболее эффективный. И третье, если действительно в компании токсично, и руководитель токсичный, тогда, по-моему, вам туда не очень надо. Точно не должно произойти со стороны HR-специалиста, во-первых, некорректная коммуникация. Не только на собеседовании, но и, в принципе, в рамках любого этапа отбора. Это первое, что касается звонков, писем и так далее, и так далее. Дальше это какие-то максимально личные вопросы, условно, планируете ли вы замуж, ваша сексуальная ориентация, еще что-нибудь, то есть вот что-то очень-очень личное, что не влияет на ваш уровень профессионализма, и, в принципе, не повлияет никак относительно каких-то процессов работы, скажем так. Дальше я бы сказала, что еще со стороны HR и в том числе нанимающего менеджера не должно быть истории про то, что если кандидат не подходит на позицию и в начале собеседования, в ходе собеседования они понимают, что человек не подходит, не должно быть ситуации, когда HR и нанимающий менеджер начинают просто как-то глумиться над кандидатом, которого они точно не возьмут, и поэтому они такие: да, сейчас что-нибудь я поспрашиваю прикольное, мне будет весело, а кандидату будет, конечно же, не весело. Еще бы я сказала, что если кандидат не приходит на собеседование, то ни в коем случае не должно быть какого-то конфликта со стороны HR, что почему ты не пришел, я же так тебя ждал, вообще ты плохой кандидат и так далее, и так далее. Вот. И если говорить, в принципе, про какой-то уже завершающий этап после собеседования, обратная связь и так далее, что должно быть? Должна быть обратная связь в любом случае, да, взяли, не взяли человека, сказать ему об этом стоит. Обратная связь должна быть максимально корректная, с плюсами, минусами, а не просто, что ты плохой кандидат, ты не специалист, мы тебя не взяли, потому что мы классные, а ты нет. Я бы сказала, что точно не нужно негативить и уходить на конфликт, потому что не просто это показывает тебя как хорошего человека с хорошими софтами, но и более того, рынок довольно узкий, и все друг друга знают. Если вдруг какая-то конфликтная ситуация произошла, то, скорее всего, об этом узнают другие HR, которые общаются между собой. Вот, это первое. Второе, если отказали, то стоит попросить фидбэк, спросить, о чем мне не хватило, а что было хорошо, и попытаться получить его у HR, а еще лучше нанимающего менеджера, который проверял тестовые задания или проверял харды, если это было в рамках отбора. Потому что это даст вам, как кандидату, базу, от которой сможет оттолкнуться на следующих собеседованиях другие компании. Вот. И правда, очень важно не забывать не только про какие-то зоны для улучшений, но и то, что было хорошо. Потому что максимизация ваших сильных сторон, она даст вам больше какого-то буста в рамках отбора других компаний, нежели почищение каких-то слабых своих мест. Вот, поэтому просите обратную связь, не выходите на конфликт и просто скажите, что спасибо большое, было с вами приятно познакомиться. Вот, и старайтесь сделать так, чтобы даже если сейчас вам отказывают, например, на какую-то позицию в компании, но в эту компанию вы очень хотите попасть, и это ваша компания мечты, то постарайтесь попасть в кадровый резерв, который, в принципе, есть почти у любой компании, и если что, через какое-то время напомните о себе, что вот я получил дополнительный опыт работы, я прокачался, может быть, у вас сейчас есть какие-то новые позиции, на которые могу прийти. Это тоже работает. Можно просто взять небольшой тайм-аут перед собеседованием в формате какой-то такой базовой медитации или работы со своим дыханием. Это, правда, классно помогает, если ты очень сильно нервничаешь, перед публичным выступлением, собеседованием, любая стрессовая ситуация. Буквально 5 минут посидеть с собой, закрытыми глазами, глубоко подышать, и это уже совсем по-другому ощущается любая ситуация, которая вызывает у тебя стресс. Это первый базовый универсальный совет, который подходит всем. В принципе, я бы посоветовала, если это собеседование офлайн в офисе, то просто обратить внимание на то, что происходит вокруг компании. Какие коллеги ваши потенциальные новые, что они делают, как они общаются. Таким образом, вы сместите фокус внимания с себя и своего стресса на внешние факторы, и плюс узнаете что-то прикольное и интересное про вашу потенциально новую компанию работодателя. Наверное, что еще, это попросить воды, например, у вашего потенциального HR, что вас будет собеседовать, и просто переговорить с ним неформально, перекинуть с парой вопросов так, чтобы снизить уровень стресса и установить какой-то неформальный контакт уже на этом уровне. А если ваше собеседование проходит онлайн, например, в Zoom или в Google Meet, то за несколько минут я советую включить вашу самую любимую песню, от которой вы максимально кайфуете, и подумать про себя, а зачем вообще вам отбор и конкретно это собеседование в конкретно эту компанию. Потому что как только вы поймете, какая ваша цель, вы сфокуситесь на этой цели и сразу перестанете волноваться, потому что вы поймете, что все не просто так, и нужно быть максимально классным, показать себя с лучшей стороны, чтобы эту цель достичь. Наверное, глобально отличий нет. потому что вопросы и офлайн, и онлайн со стороны рекрутера, они не отличаются. Единственное, что в рамках встречи офлайн у вас произойдет больше какой-то коммуникации до непосредственно собеседования, что с HR, что с, в принципе, обстановкой в офисе компании. Лично мне субъективно больше нравится встреча офлайн, потому что офлайн собеседование вам как кандидату дает больше информации про компанию и про то, как коллеги коммуницируют друг с другом в рабочей жизни, потому что всегда, конечно же, у вас есть там 5-10 минут на то, чтобы посидеть, прочувствовать атмосферу компании непосредственно вот физически. Это со стороны кандидата. Со стороны рекрутера встреча офлайн дает больше представления о какой-то невербалике кандидата и, в принципе, существует ли матч между там, условным вайбом кандидата и вайбом компании, потому что все-таки онлайн встречи, они вот эту вот часть невербальную очень сильно зарезают. Ты, конечно же, видишь лицо человека, ты слышишь его голос, но такие мимика, какие-то минимальные штуки, которые можно прочувствовать в личной встрече, они пропадают, и это очень сложно. Поэтому глобальной разницы нет, но вот такие мелочи онлайново, они пропадают. Конечно же, можно. Вопрос, нужно ли вам это как кандидату. Обмануть можно любого человека, и ошибки найма, они случаются. Потому что есть люди, которые понимают, как проходить этапы отбора и как проходить их максимально качественно, чтобы их пропустили дальше. Можно увиливать, можно скрывать информацию, можно как-то преподносить себя с лучшей стороны и делать вид, что вы тот самый кандидат мечты моей как HR. Другой вопрос, что вы прошли отбор, вас взяли в компанию, проходит месяц, проходит 2, проходит 3, и через какое-то время просто все понимают, что, по-моему, как-то вот что-то не то. Где-то вот что какая-то загвоздка есть, потому что вы прошли отбор, получили оффер, но сможете ли вы перформить на тот уровень, который от вас ждут, исходя из там отбора на 10 из 10? А если нет? А если вас уволят потом, потому что вы не сможете показать классный перформанс? Обмануть можно, рисков еще больше, как бы решать вам самим. Мой универсальный совет всем кандидатам – это быть честными и открытыми. Вас будут спрашивать различные вопросы, которые, может быть, вам будут казаться бесполезными или неприятными вам, условно, вопрос про какие-то факапы и неуспехи. Это нормально, но будьте к этому готовы. Будьте готовы к тому, чтобы открыться перед человеком, которого вы знаете там 5 минут условно после разговора по телефону. Будьте готовы к тому, что вам будут задавать много вопросов, и у вас будет много этапов отбора, поэтому будьте терпеливы. Честность, открытость плюс терпеливость — это вот 3 каких-то главных показателя, которые вам гарантируют, наверное, не успех и не оффер по итогу отбора, но точно хорошие взаимоотношения с вашим рекрутером, нанимающим менеджером, HR и так далее, что уже даст вам хороший плюс как кандидату и просто как человеку, с которым приятно общаться.
Большое спасибо специалисту за столь ценные советы. Прям, получасовой блок такой пролетел на одном дыхании. Очень много лайфхаков от HR. Вот, наверное, для зрителей сейчас эти полчаса были примерно как для меня сегодня и неделю назад, когда я сижу рядом с тобой и слушаю вот все, что ты подмечаешь четко. Прям очень здорово, очень полезно.
Hey guys, glad to welcome you back to the main room. And now we will display the leaderboard based on the results of the second round. And what can I say that we don't have actually any changes after the Blitz quiz. But I would like to remind that this speech, which we are going to do right now, which will take like 1 minute, it can significantly change the results which we have now, because it can give you 10 additional points from our judges. So please take it seriously and try to have this like last move. I hope it will improve for like your position in this rating. So everyone should be a bit more focused. And then we are gonna to start our presentations. And we will start with the team Churchella. So like our rule is simple. You have 1 minute for pitch your idea, like how you modified your solution. And the task of the judges is to fill the evaluation form and give afterwards feedback. So are you ready, guys? I also would like to ask to turn on the cameras only the people who is gonna to pitch the idea. So it will be a bit easier for us. So, and then let's start. Churchella, are you ready?
Yeah, can we start?
Nice.
Thank
Yes.
you. So, the proposed initiative already considers a filtration system for various harmful substances, greenhouse gases for sure. With the entry into force of the law on limitation greenhouse effect emissions, we are adding a CCUS system to our production scheme, which will capture carbon emissions, which we will able to sell later.
Yeah, we consider CCS is a feasible initiative and abandon it due to low income when considering is an independent idea. The addition of CCS to our initiative will increase the duration of reparation of the warehouse and waste-to-energy plant by 10 months and will entail costs of about 3 billion rubles. The sale of CO2 to our production compensates for the increase in the budget, resulting in NPV 30 million rubles. 30 billion rubles, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. Perfect timing. And we will give just 15 seconds for our judges to evaluate the team Churchella. And we are moving to the next team.
Stop sharing.
What?
Well,
So the next team?
Yes.
Okay, the next team will be Financisti. And so remember that the previous team needs to stop sharing the screen before the second team starts sharing the screen, because otherwise it's not possible. So then are you ready, guys?
Yes, we are ready.
Okay, then 3, 2, 1, go.
Now, of course, a clear green trend is visible. Therefore, we have installed a mining farm based on the grass, as it is a renewable energy source from which CO2 emissions are minimal. As part of our initiative, we are introducing innovative cooling system, thanks to which it will be able to remove heat more efficiently. This heat will be used to heat bus stations, streets, greenhouses, fish farms. Our project will not only not be dirty, but it also will be useful, since the heat will be used and not lost in the atmosphere.
As for investors, we are aware of the environment, and our mining is beneficial for the environment, as we have mentioned before. We disclose information about emissions, and we are ready to develop, which will increase our goodwill in the market. So, to sum up, it is preferable to the investors because the dividends will not suffer. It is also beneficial for consumers because they heat in public premises, and it's beneficial for Mosenergo because the revenue will not suffer. So we take into consideration all the interests of all the parties and strive for green goodwill. So this is all for now.
Okay, thank you very much. Perfect timing. And we are moving on to the next team. It's 2 times 2. So are you here, guys?
Yes, we are. We are ready.
Okay, do you have a slide which you would like to share or not?
Sure. Yes, one moment. So, do you hear Do you see it?
Yeah, I can tell
Okay,
you like
wait.
3, 2, 1. Maybe it will be easier for you. So like 3, 2, 1, go.
So we offer 3 pathways. We already included one of the possible ways in our idea. It is implementation of carbon capture, utilization, and storage systems, which will reduce the emission almost fully. Second one is that we can reconstruct several plants in order to use them as a consumer of hydrogen, and thus making the electricity more green.
Our absolutely new idea is the thermal stations. In the summer period, the heat is still generated and hot water enters the pipeline together with the pentane. The gas boils, then it enters the turbine and generates free energy. All this in combination will replace half of the carbon generating resources. All 3 options will increase the payback of our strategy till approximately 15 years. And you may see the mechanism on the slide. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. So, yeah, and actually I accidentally skipped the team Bra. So it was your turn. I'm so sorry. Kazbek, you could be more bold and say it like, Ksenia, something is going wrong. It's my turn. You're not very focused. So, Kazbek, are you ready to, I'm really sorry for that. So are you ready to share your presentation?
We don't have a presentation. Yeah. We can start.
All right. So then 3, 2, 1, go.
We have been asked, why do we need to invest in our infrastructure? It's a situation like this that underscores their necessity.
This situation not only won't change the timing of profitability of the project, but will be a catalyst for the development of infrastructure as it will accelerate the transition to EVs. China had a similar case and now accounts 60% of all EVs. The similar situation in Scandinavia, where EVs account for 56% of the country fleet. In addition, our project becomes even more attractive for stakeholders. Mosenergo will retain its leadership in the Moscow markets and its reputation. Shareholders will not lose their financials. Investors will be more willing to invest, and customers will receive green energy and will know that Mosenergo is a socially responsible company.
The infrastructure project is a climate project, so the carbon units for this project will allow them to transfer to less environmentally friendly areas of Mosenergo, so they will not suffer. Therefore, the infrastructure project is optimal for doing business in this situation. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much for your pitch. So I think Tina Kandelaki would really like how Tahir pitches, and he could be next maybe year a host and to be a host of the Blitz quiz. So I would like to remind our judges that we had a mistake in the sequences in our teams. So it was the team Bra. And please evaluate the right team. And we are moving on to the next team. And the next team will be Teперь, Важно. So guys, are you here?
Yes, we are here.
Yes, we are.
All right. So I will tell 3, 2, 1, and we will start our pitch. So 3, 2, 1, go.
So the new legislation complies with the initiative, but in order to support the current policy of the government, we propose to create a department on the basis of a consulting agency to launch environmental initiatives to reduce the carbon footprint. Also, if Russian government focuses on bioenergy in the future, we will also be ready for this. We have considered the additional steps on the timeline to prepare any consulting for the changes, but the deadlines are not shifting. Only one step requires a 1-month extension, but we are also finishing by October 2022. Max, will you tell about the results?
First of all, we expect that Mosenergo will be able to reduce emissions by 3% each year due to their projects. And also in 2023 and 2024, our consulting division will allow other companies to reduce their emissions by 23 and 21 million tons each year. So the net emissions of Mosenergo will be about 10 and 11 million tons. Regarding finances, the company revenue from consulting services will increase by 26% annually and will become about 580 million rubles by 2026. In the first 2 years, there will be a loss due to pricing policy. But
I must stop
you.
Yeah, because everyone has only 1 minute for pitch, but you did a really great job for this.
That everyone gets our financial results.
Okay, thank you very much. And now it will be the last team of our second stage, or third actually stage. in our final, so lucky charms. Are you ready to present your solution?
Yes.
All right. Super. Then I would recommend to use the full format.
Yeah. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see. Super. Then 3, 2, 1, go.
In our initiative with LED light bulbs, we don't have CO2 emissions in production of LEDs. And regarding stakeholders, investors support eco-friendly production, so it will be good reputation for Mosenergo and guarantee of stability and profit gain. And Mosenergo interested in compliance with laws, minimization of CO2 emissions, and compliance with ESG goals. Therefore, we propose an alternative idea.
As we do not have emissions of carbon dioxide production of LEDs, we propose to implement the strategy for current electricity producing plants. German company Linde can install us the equipment that capture carbon dioxide emissions and make it liquid. Then we will store it in tanks and sell it to companies that produce bioethanol.
Yeah, and this initiative will be profitable and significantly reduce CO2 emissions, and it will pay off within 10 years. And we did benchmarking with American companies, and the issue decreased by 11%.
Okay, and at this moment, I need to stop you. Thank you very much for your pitch. And it was the last team, and I would like to thank you all judges and participants. Dear participants, thank you to all of you for your solutions and really amazing presentations. You are very creative, so just know it. And dear experts, I would like to thank you for your questions to the teams. And kindly reminder that the last team was the team Lucky Charms, and you need to fill the evaluation form. And I think that your questions helped our participants to understand their ideas deeper, and also to be a bit more critical about them. So thank you, dear experts. And now I will tell you what happens next. So the participants will have an literally amazing network, and also the interview with the teams of the finals. And dear judges, you will now be redirected to the rooms to sum up the results of today's presentations, and you will be the first one who will know the winner of our final. So, and now I'm saying goodbye and wish you all the luck, not only in our championship, how I like to tell, but also in your future way of the caser. So I'm sure this is not your last championship. And have a good evening. I was really happy to join the